Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja 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 Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja Abarera Legos Ram Ori Banish C10 Demonio Dinaja
Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Satan and Coffee, Sunday Black Mass, and as we always begin, hail Satan, hail Lilith, hail Lucifer, hail Payman, hail Baphomet, hail thyself. We reject the Trinity, we reject the baptism of John, and we reject the baptism of the Spirit. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I know that with Satan and Coffee, we've been kind of bouncing back and forth between starting at 10 and starting at 11. I think 10 o'clock is just, it's just a little bit better. I don't know how far we're crossing over into Pondering Pagans. Creating kind of like a competition between Mystic and what we got going on over here. I don't know how long he's been alive for though. Let's see here. Live button. And I mean, he's been streaming for 77 minutes. He's been going for a minute, so you know. So he definitely starts earlier. But yeah, just don't want to be kind of like causing kind of like that. Kind of like a competition there. But anyway, so what the conversation is today, kind of like recognizing, because I talk about a lot of recently made kind of 2 videos talking about kind of like the left-hand path and kind of like focusing on your own power and self-deification and things like that. So I kind of want to talk about the understanding of your own power, like kind of how to bring that about. So when it comes to kind of understanding kind of like your own ability, your own power in the left-hand path, there's definitely an aspect of this where a lot of people, when they jump into it, the first thing they try to do is they try to work with a demon, they try to work with a god, they try to work with whatever to give them power. And what I have found through personal experience of attempting to do that at the very beginning of like me walking, you know, my path here, you know, almost more than 2 decades ago. God damn, it hurts to say that, but yeah, started walking this path about like decades ago. So generally speaking, the response that you get isn't the one you're looking for. Because you're not given power from the external. You have to kind of bring yourself about to understanding your own ability, right? When walking and when on the left-hand path. So before beginning working with anything, work with yourself. Right? I know this kind of sounds like counterintuitive to the concept of the occult, but the occult literally only means uncovering the hidden or hidden knowledge. And so, one of the first things that one needs to kind of uncover is your own ability, your own power, your own strength, right? To get through whatever it is that you're getting through before anything can be provided to you extra or externally from, from the infernal or the divine, however you want to put it. So that's the first thing. And ritual can help with that. And yes, I mean, the infernal can help with that, like if that is your focal point, right? But like jumping right into, ritual work and trying to ask a demon to do something for you without fully kind of like waking yourself up first, it it's going to be counterintuitive and it's going to hold you back, right? A lot of the time, what'll happen is, you'll just get pushback. Nothing will happen, and you'll feel like you're just in a rut. And that happens specifically because you have to be in alignment with. Yes, glasses are on. You have to be in alignment with yourself before you kind of open up the floodgates. So essentially, kind of like what we were talking about last night on Apocrypha, when we were talking about ritual and ceremonial magic. Getting your own mindset ready is important, and you can go into ritual specifically for the intention of opening yourself up to your own personal power, your own personal strength, right? That is a possibility. That is something that you can do. And I definitely suggest it. I definitely suggest that be a focus. A focal point of your work is go into ritual and begin your communication with the universe. And I say universe, not any specific deity or demon or anything like that, but with the universe, to open yourself up to be able to communicate with yourself. When you do that and you understand your own strengths and your own weaknesses, what's going to inevitably happen by understanding your strengths and understanding your weaknesses is when you go into ritual and when you actually begin to kind of say like, hey, you build up this power, you build up this essence around you, and then you send that energy out into the universe, into the direction that you want it to go into. The universe is going to respond in kind, right? Because there's an understanding of the work that you're going to need to do. Generally speaking, if you go into a ritual asking for something right off the cuff and you don't understand your own capabilities, at that point you're just limiting yourself, right? Because maybe what you're asking for is something you can do yourself without going into ritual, and you don't know it yet. Right? And this falls into that whole idea of the left-hand path. Like, I mean, the left-hand path is... It's something that a lot of people seem to be missing the point, and it really keeps irritating me. And I know I keep, like, babbling on about this, and I keep, like, kind of ranting about it, but it really does seem like a lot of people are kind of missing the memo here. Like, they didn't get the fucking memo what this shit is about, right? And so the first thing to do before working with anything is understanding yourself, understanding your own capabilities, understanding what you're capable of doing, right? Once you have that, then you can kind of begin to kind of grow outside of that. And I also have a suggestion here for a lot of people kind of starting out here. Don't jump in asking for something. I mean, you can. There's no rules against it, right? There's nothing. There's no documentation out there, saying that you shouldn't do this. It doesn't work. It's going to blow back into your face, whatever. But in my own personal opinion, in my own experience, try not asking for things or like material things, right? Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, material shit, like a job, a TV, a house, a car, whatever, like all of these things, these are things that you can obtain without, going into ritual. You don't need to go into ritual to do this. Like your own energy can refocus you into what it is that you need to be doing. Like you don't need, an external a demonic force or divine force or infernal force to begin to move the wheels of the universe so you can make an extra $5 an hour. All you have to do is apply to a job. That's it. And in my own personal experience, at least with the entities I have worked with, generally speaking, it is a boring task that they don't want to do. And I don't blame them. With the amount of people that, go into ritual asking for a new job, asking for more money, all of this stuff, Now, the intangible, the aspects of it that are more akin to kind of like abstract thought. So, for example, if you go into ritual and you say, okay, I need money, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get money. You might be presented with some ideas. But I feel like if you skip the part where you're asking for the tangible and jump right into the intangible, you're going to get even more with it. It's asking the right questions. It's if you think about gin, not the liquor, the thing that genies are based off of, right? In Disney movies. You think about gin. When you come in contact with the djinn, they do grant, your desires. Or more specifically, exactly what you ask for. Hey, Tree Sap, hail and welcome. So, if you are capable of trapping one, getting one, what you ask for is what you get. But in a very literal sense, and in everything that I have ever read, everything that I've ever researched when it comes to jinn, you never actually get what you ask for. Like, not in the way that you think that you would be getting it, right? So, for example, somebody, might capture one and say, hey, I need a shit ton of money because I need to take care of my family. And then 2 days later, dude fucking dies, but the family gets a life insurance policy. So taking that extreme and understanding that extreme, right, that extreme concept. Don't ask me about a jinn. I don't know a lot about it. Just from my limited understanding of what they do and what they're capable of, I don't fuck with it. So, yeah, Anything physical. I've always asked questions and for advice and received answers pretty quickly. Exactly. You asked for, if you ask for kind of like the abstract thought forms, right? To be presented to you, to give you guidance, to give you a direction. If you skip the physical aspect of things and understand what it actually is that you need, right? You need more money. You don't need necessarily money. You need an idea that can get you money, or you need, the motivation to get off your ass and, get a job. And here's the thing. So I've said this before, and I'll say this again. In my experience working with Baphomet, the thing is, and yes, I'm totally stealing this from, I forgot the name of the movie, but, there's a movie where this, was quoted, and I'm totally stealing it from that, but it fits it perfectly. It fits what actually happens. So working with Baphomet, even working with Lucifer and Lilith to a certain degree, or even Payman, I think this is my experience across the board. If you ask for patience, the infernal aren't going to just give you patience with a snap of their fingers. They're going to give you an opportunity to be patient. So you have the opportunity to prove to yourself that you're capable of doing this. right? That you already have it inside of you. You know, if you ask for strength, they're not going to make you strong. You know, you're not. It's not like you're going to be able to lift up a car or something like that. But they will give you opportunities or put you into situations where you need to be strong to prove to yourself that you are strong, right? When you know you ask for love, right? This is one that a lot of people ask for, right? I mean, in ritual and magic in general, love spells, right? When you ask for love, they don't. And it's interesting how this works. They don't put you in a situation necessarily where you are loved, but they put you into a situation to provide you with a situation where you can love. Everything else after that point's your responsibility, right? Like, honestly, like, I don't agree with love spells. I don't agree with love magic in the sense of trying to make someone feel something for you. And nor do I believe that it necessarily does. So the way that I believe things like that work, universally speaking, is the idea that something already exists inside of someone, right? So if a ritual is done or a spell is cast or whatever for someone to love someone else, it only can awaken what already exists inside of that person. Improvement, but I ended up going through several year-long work involving most intense, extensive self-improvement I've ever been through. Exactly. See, when you don't sit there and you're not constantly asking for stuff, and then this is how I find like my relationship with Baphomet is that like I don't have to ask for anything. Like it just happens. Like there's a sense like I know that I need something. I know that I want something, and I begin to kind of make those moves for it. And then the guidance that I receive is beyond beyond my own action. But my actions, I'm already taking action to move into that direction. But going back to the love spell thing or the love ritual or whatever, I think the only thing that it does is it already awakens something that's inside of somebody. If somebody has, romantic feelings for you, it can enhance those because they're already there because the person is making a choice to do this. So we can be put into situations to make us see the value of someone, right? So I do believe that a love spell could also do that. It could create a situation so somebody that may not have those emotions for you are put into a situation where they see the value of you as a person. But I do not believe necessarily that a person's will, when conscious of their will, can be manipulated and changed in such a way, right? We rely too heavily on these aspects of Hollywood magic, and I know I'm kind of like contradicting myself here because I do believe in physical manifestation of through magic and things like that, and understanding the line here. I believe that these things used to be possible. I believe that magic was well enough alive in the hearts of humanity and understood and believed in the hearts of humanity in the past, that because of that and everyone working their own magic, there was enough circulating energy just to kind of be able to, at a whim, kind of produce, manifestation, physical manifestation. I believe after, the Crusades, that really kind of dived down. I do believe that there was probably still enough during that time period that people were still able to manifest. But as years went on and decades turned into centuries, and things like that, we began to lose touch with that movement, right? The waters became stagnant. And now, they're starting to wake up. They've been starting to wake up for maybe like the last 50, 60 years, you know, pretty well. And which is why I think a lot more people are starting to get results with working magic. Um, I don't think people have ever really actually stopped working magic, left hand path or otherwise. I just think that because it went so underground, and just fewer and fewer people were talking about it for such a long time and practicing it and moving those energies around, right? I mean, it just kind of like started to wash off the face of the earth. It's starting to come back now, right? And we still have to fight shit every day with the church and stuff like that, and I'm trying to shut down, witchcraft of any kind. But I do believe that when we are working our magic, when we work in a ritual, the best thing that we can do is work on ourselves, because we are able to receive what we're being given by what we send out, right? So we're able to make this connection. We're able to build this relationship. We're able to go, okay, I want to connect with this entity. I want to connect with this infernal element, whatever. And then you can build that connection, and then you can receive. And the things that you need to do for you to better your life kind of just start to fall in place, each and every day. And again, this is my experience with Baphomet. Is with Baphomet, don't have to ask for anything. Like, I know what I want, and then, as I go through ritual and things like that, the path and the direction is more shown to me. But none of this would have been possible, wouldn't have been able to do anything that I've done without first being able to understand my own ability, my own power inside of myself, my own determination. And I think, it is a combination of personal patience, personal determination, and focus. Focus on yourself, focus on your goals, right? So patience and determination go hand in hand. So a lot of people will start to do something and want to see it become successful, and they get really hyped up and really hyper-focused at the very beginning, start pushing out a bunch of stuff, and then it doesn't do anything, and, the personal waters become stagnant, right? And then they kind of, all right, fuck it, whatever, and they just move on to something else. And then then you get to this point where you're kind of sitting like, well, why is none of my projects working? Like, why is nothing kind of, breaking out in front of me? Like, why can't I break through this wall? And the reason you can't break through the wall is because you start picking at one part of it, and just as you start to kind of chip away at the wall, you're like, oh, fuck this, and you go to another part of the wall and you start chipping away at that, right? The wall is never going to fall down if you keep changing where the fuck you're chipping at it. You've got to pick something and focus that point and have patience. Right? You have to have patience. I think, a big problem with today's society is, we have romanticized the entrepreneur, right? We have romanticized the struggle. And I suppose that, inspo porn is definitely a thing, and, it has its place, right, in society. But I think before going in and taking any endeavor, whether this be the occult, left-hand path, a business, furthering your education, whatever it is that you decide that you want to do and wherever you want to focus your efforts, I think the biggest thing to understand is that it's not elegant and extravagant. You need to get dirty before you can build the house that you want, build the empire that you're trying to build. You have to break ground first. And that's the struggle. You have to struggle. You have to go through that struggle. You have to go through trying times. You have to have the dedication to continue going and the patience to understand that eventually you're going to break through the other side of the wall. Eventually, you're going to be done breaking ground and you can lay down the concrete. You can lay down the foundation. But you can't lay down a foundation without breaking ground, right? You need to dig up dirt before you can put the concrete down. And I think a lot of people just want to get right to building the house, and then they wonder why the fucking thing keeps falling down, right? Well, I mean, you didn't build the foundation. You didn't break ground, right? You have to break the ground. You have to lay the foundation. You have to wait for the foundation to settle, to solidify, and then you can build on that foundation. Everybody's trying to skip the breaking ground and laying the foundation down and just go right to building the empire, and it just falls, crashes, and fucking burns. And the reason it does that is because people don't want to put the work in. People are afraid to put the work in. Everybody, at least a lot of people that I have seen, are needy, whiny little punks that think that they are owed something in the world and want somebody to hand them something, right? Like YouTube, for example, right? Everybody that starts a YouTube channel thinks that they have this wonderful, great fucking idea that's going to turn them into like fucking Mr. Beast or fucking Casey Neistat or some stupid shit. Nobody's ever going to reach that level, you know, but you have to kind of look at what did these guys go through before they got to the point, you know, that they're at. I mean, for fuck's sake, I mean, Casey Neistat, you know, he was homeless several times, right? Did stupid little gigs here and there and, you know, got bullshit money for it. He was a dishwasher, you know. His apartment blew up during 9/11, you know. Like, you know, he didn't have a place to live after that. But what people look at, what people see is like, oh, he's getting brand deals, you know, he's getting, you know, major amounts of money from his ad revenue. You know, he's getting invited to this thing. He's getting invited to that thing. And it's like, okay, that's a fun and cool lifestyle. How do you think he got there? Did he just wake up one fucking day and Samsung calls him and say, hey, we want to send you our newest phone. We don't know who the fuck you are, but we want to send it to you. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You got to put the work in. You've got to have the dedication. You have to have the patience. It's the same thing with the left-hand path. You have to wake up yourself before you can start working with something else, before you can start working with something external from yourself. Right? You have to want to have that part of yourself open and able to receive the information. Because let's just put it this way. If you're closed off and you're not open to putting in the work and opening yourself up and fixing your own shit, you might get lucky and you might have, you know, an infernal or a divine element that is trying to send you information, but you're too fucked up in your own head to understand it and receive it and know what the hell it is you actually need to do. And especially if you don't believe that you can do something. Like if you're one of those people that are sitting there saying, "Oh, well, I can't do this. I can't do it. I can't do it. That's too difficult. That's too hard. It's too boring. It's too this. It's too that. It's too." Well, I mean, like, I'm sorry, but the only person you have to blame for the reason, like, your life isn't working out the way you really hoped it was going to work out is, well, it's you. Because if you're the one sitting there denying your own ability, then, you know, it's no hate on what you want to do, but you shot yourself in the foot. Regardless of path, tradition, long-term practitioners are all swamped working really hard. Nothing in life is free. Exactly. You know, I mean, it's even like if you sit there and you think about relationships. I mean, people, you know, unfortunately in today's society, you know, a traditional style relationship is like, oh, well, you know, people are like, who needs that, right? Where it's just like everything's all fucking polyamory and shit. It's like nothing against people that do that. It's just not my fucking cup of tea. And look, I'm going to say something else that's probably going to be it's probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but let's just be fucking completely honest here. All right? You are the accumulation of the 5 closest people that you have in your life. End of story. You are the accumulation of the 5 closest people you have in your life. So if you're hanging out with drug dealers, gangbangers, and addicts, what do you think, You know, what do you think you're accumulating yourself to be, right? So, you know, if you're surrounding yourself with people that live their lives directly against, you know, how you want to live your life, how smooth do you think that's going to be? Like, I can respect people and their decisions. That's perfectly fine, right? I can even have conversations with these people. But would I consider them a friend? Fuck no. No, I wouldn't. I would not. Right? And that's because I don't need that influence. I don't need, because these influences, like, you people would like to sit there and say, well, I'm a very strong-willed person, you know, I can, well, yeah, that's fine, you're a strong-willed person, but at the end of the day, you go years and years and years with people like talking about their shit, the shit that you disagree with. Eventually, at some point, those ideas are going to leak into your fucking head and be like, maybe they're right. And this goes with fucking anything, right? This goes with anything at all that, you know, you do when, you know, you're, you know, trying to build something in your life, right? If you don't, you know, build around you the things that you want to see in your life, then again, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You need to have around you things that are going to stimulate you and push you into the direction that you want to go. You want to be an occultist? Hang around other occultists. Learn from them, right? Being an occultist and hanging around a bunch of fucking Christians doesn't sound, it sounds kind of counterproductive, doesn't it? Right? Because for as much as you sit there and say, well, yeah, I want to be an occultist, I want to work the left-hand path, but if you're hanging around a bunch of fucking Christians all the goddamn time, they're going to, what's the most likely scenario? They're going to sit there and tell you that everything that you're doing is evil, everything that you're doing is wrong, and that, you know, you're going to go to hell. And eventually, at some point, no matter how much you want to work in the occult, you're going to sit there and you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go to hell. Right? We are influenced by our tribe. We have always been influenced by our tribe. From the dawn of fucking time, we have been influenced by the people and things that we have around us. So if you, one of the questions that you can ask yourself is, if you're not where you want to be and you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in your ideas, who do you have around you? Do you have people that want to be entrepreneurs? Do you have people that are entrepreneurs? Do you have successful people around you? Or are you hanging around fucking degenerates and gangbangers? There's nothing against people that need to do what they need to do to survive. That's their direction. That's what they found out to do, right? But, you know, that's the only thing for them, right? They weren't able to find another way out. And you know what? You do what you got to do, and that's fine. But if that's not the direction that you want to go, if that's not what you want to be a part of, then separate yourself from that. Again, it doesn't mean you can't sit down and have a conversation with these people. You can't have human respect. It doesn't mean that they're less than you. But if you're surrounding yourself with people that aren't doing what it is that you want to be doing, right, you're losing your own potential, right? You're always going to question yourself, right? You're breaking off of your own potential. If you know what it is in your head that you want, then, you know, you need to move forward with that. And you need to surround yourself with people that are going to help you with that. And working in the left-hand path, working in a rituals, opening yourself up to believe in yourself. One of the first things that always happens when people start to work with something like Belial or Lucifer or anything like that is their interpersonal relationships begin to break down. Right? They begin to, like, longtime friends begin to just leave and disappear, or they do things that they never thought that they would do. Right? They catch them in a lie, or they catch them stealing, or whatever, right? And forcing you to move your hand to say, okay, I don't want you in my life anymore. And there's a reason why that happens. The old must decay and drop off for the new to shine through. Anyway, guys, I mean, that is pretty much it. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. And honestly, if I keep going at this, I'm just going to keep beating a dead horse. I do hope that you found it insightful. I do hope that you found it interesting. And we're going to end this the same way that it starts, and that is Hail Satan, Lilith, Hail Lucifer, Hail Payman, Hail Baphomet, and most of all,